Hi class, this is Dr. Karsten, and today we are doing Grade 4, Unit 1, Lesson 4, Session 3. So in this session, not only were we adding large numbers or greater numbers using the standard algorithm, but we were also estimating to check to see for reasonableness. Now remember, the way that we were talking about whether or not something is reasonable is whether or not you believe it could be true or could happen. And the way that we were talking about it was that, it was a pretty warm day and it was kind of misting. And we talked about the weather today, and we said, would it be reasonable for me to say that if I go outside, my hair is going to get wet? And we all decided that yes, that was reasonable because it was misting. I also said, is it reasonable for us to think that it could be sunny, that it'll get sunny in the afternoon? And you all gave me the thumbs up that yes, that was reasonable because it was warm and we knew that the sun might come out and that the rain might blow over. And then I said, is it reasonable for me to say that it is going to snow today? And you all gave me the thumbs down. And you said, nope, that's not reasonable because we knew the weather was warm. And for it to drop that many degrees, for it to be able to snow, was nearly impossible. So that was not a reasonable thing for us to say. All right, so with that said, when we are estimating with these problems, I want to remind you that what we're doing is first we add the numbers, then we are going to estimate them to the same place value, and then finally we are going to compare, or then we add our estimates, and then we're going to compare the estimated sum. Remember, sum means we're adding. So the estimated sum with the actual sum to see whether the number that we got was reasonable. So remember, that's one way that we can use estimating, and that's how we're using it today. We're not doing it for all the problems, just for some of the problems. So now that I kind of talked about things being reasonable, let's go ahead and let's jump right in. So we're going to go ahead and add this first problem. So when we're adding this first problem, again, you guys know that I really love for us to have those lines to keep us honest. And we've been doing this now. This is our third day. And that is just way too small. Not going to work for me. So let me rewrite this for us. So we have 36,159, and we're going to add 42,903. Now, it does not say that we have to estimate to check for reasonableness on this one. So I'm going to draw in my lines that help us out. And I'm going to go ahead and start adding. Remember, when we are adding, when we are finding the sum, we always start over on the right side in the ones place. Now, let me say this. If you have a decimal and it continues, then you would always start on the place that's the farthest to the right. All right, 9 plus 3 is 12. And remember, I can't write 12 down here. Instead, what I'm going to do is I'm going to regroup that 1. That 1 is going to move over because this is really equal to 10 and 2. And that 10 belongs over in the tens. We have our 1s, our 10s, and so on and so forth. So that 10 is going to get moved over. So this 1 is going to end up right here. So we're going to write 1 and put the 2 down here. So that's our 12. And now we have 1 plus 5, which is 6. I noticed today a lot of you were losing the numbers up here sometimes that we had regrouped. Be careful with that. And now we're going to do 1 plus 9 is 10. And again, I'm going to write my 10 like that. I'm not going to put it in here. I'm going to put the 1 up there. It gets moved over, regrouped. And then we have 1 plus 6 plus 2, which is going to give me 9. And 3 plus 4 is 7. And there's our answer for the first one. So let's go ahead and take a look at the next one. And again, for this one, we do not have to estimate. We do not have to look for reasonableness. We're just allowed to do it. Now, I want you to notice that here, in this number, it goes to the 10,000s. There are 5 digits. In this number, there's only 4 digits. Do you notice, though, how the 1s are lined up and the 10s are lined up and the commas are lined up? Make sure you do that. Make sure that you do that and that you're watching for mistakes like that. All right, so here we have our two numbers. We have 65,296 plus 8,172. So I'm going to go ahead and draw in the lines that I like. All right, let's start on the right. We're going to start way over on the right, and we see that 6 plus 2 is 8. 9 plus 7 is 16, but I can't write 16 in here. That 1 has to regroup over there. So 16. 1 plus 2 plus 1 is 4, and 8 plus 5 is 13. And now we just have to do 1 plus 6, which is 7. And there's our answer. So we have 73,468. So now that we have done a couple of these, let's go to the next page. And this is where we're going to start having to do our estimating. So it says find the sum, then estimate to check that your answer is reasonable. Show your work. Watch for those show your work problems. All right, my friends? All right, so I think that we can see what's going on here. You know what? I can't help it. We need it bigger. So I'm going to rewrite it right here. I'm not going to go quite as big because we do need space to do the rest of this. So we have 70,234, 11,592, 16,890, and then we're going to add. I'm going to make my lines because there's a lot going on here, which means there's a lot of opportunity to mess up, and I want to minimize that opportunity. All right, let's start. So we have 4 plus 2, which is 6. Now, I have my doubles fact. I have 3 plus 9 plus 9. I know 9 and 9 is 18, plus 3 is 21. And again, I can't write 21 right here. I have to regroup that 2. So instead of writing 21 here, I'm going to put that 2 here and the 1 right there. And now I have to add 2 plus 2 plus 5 plus 8. And what I know is that 2 and 8 is 10, and 2 and 5 is 7, so that gives me 17. But you can do it however you want to do it. So again, I can't write 17 together in there. I'm going to write the 1 up there and the 7 down there. 1 plus 1 plus 6 is 8, and 7 plus 1 plus 1 is 9, and I get 98,716. That's a pretty big number. All right, but I only did part 1. I found the sum right here. Now it says we have to estimate to check whether our answer is reasonable. So what I'm going to do is I am going to round each one of these numbers to the same place value. So for this one, I have 2 choices that I would consider. I would round either to the nearest 1,000 or I could round to the nearest 10,000. I want to have an easier way about it, so I'm going to round each of these to the nearest 10,000. Now, because I'm trying to teach you, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to do each one of these separately, the way that we've been practicing. So I'm going to start with 70,234. So 70,234. And if I want to round that to the nearest 10,000, I'm going to circle my 7 because it's in the 10,000s place. And then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make all the numbers to the right of that 7 are going to become zeros. So this will be a 0, this will be a 0, this will be a 0, and this will be a 0. All of those will be zeros. But what happens to that 7? Well, remember, 7 cannot figure it out for itself. 7 has to look next door, it has to look at the neighbor, and the neighbor will tell 7 what to do. So 0 will tell 7 what to do. What we do is based on that 0 and whether we are halfway to the next 10,000. Think about 10,000s. 60,000, 70,000, 80,000. Is this number closer to 70,000 or 80,000? Hint, it's 70,234. It's probably closer to 70,000, which it is. So I'm going to go ahead and write a 7 right there. So now what I have to do is I have to show this down here, that 70,234, when rounded to the nearest 10,000, is just 70,000. And now you have to do that for the rest of these. So let's go ahead and do it for the next one. So the next number is 11,592. So 11,592. And again, I'm going to round to the nearest 10,000. All the numbers to the right are going to become 0. So all the numbers to the right of that circled number become zeros. And then that 1 looks next door, and the 1 right here, 4 or less, let it rest. So this one says, hey, 1, you gotta rest. And it stays a 1. So when I round that to the nearest 10,000, it becomes just plain old 10,000. Now we have to do the same thing for 16,890. And again, we want to round to the nearest 10,000. And when I do that, remember that all the digits to the right of the circle digit become 0. And that circle digit looks next door. The 6 will tell it what to do. 6 says, hey, I am part of 5 or more. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So 6 is greater than 5, which means it tells 1 to raise the score. And when 1 raises the score, it becomes 2. And that's because since this is 16,000, we are closer to 20,000 than we are to 10,000. We're past that 5 halfway mark, which would be 15,000. So let me write this number down here. And now we have to add those. This is part of it. So what we did was we estimated each of these. And now we're going to add them to see if this sum is reasonable. So these are easy. 0, 0. Now you see why 0 is my buddy number. 0. And now we just have to do 7 plus 1 plus 2, which is going to be 8, 9, 10. So if you look at that, we are pretty close. Considering that we estimated to the nearest 10,000, 100,000 is really close to 98,716. So I'm going to say that, yes, our answer was reasonable. All right, number 4, here we go. So for number 4, it says, use the tiles below to find a number that makes each addition problem true. You may use a tile more than once. So I can use these tiles more than once. That's really important. So let's see if we can figure this out. Oopsie, 0 plus a number gives me 5. So again, remember how we were doing this where we could say that 5 is the sum, it's the total, and we have 0 and some number. So this is a question mark, not a very good one. So 0 plus some number is 5, or 5 minus 0 is that number, which would be 5. So 0 plus 2 is 2. And again, I could do the same thing. I could say 2, 0, and a question mark, and I could solve that. Now here's where it gets fun. 5 plus what number gives me 7? Again, 7 is the total. It's the sum, and I have 5, and I have some number. So 5 plus some number is 7, or 7 minus 5 is that number, and 7 minus 5 is just 2. And we could do the same thing here. 9 plus, ooh, this is getting more interesting, isn't it? 9 plus some number gets me a 3. Well, let's think about that. Let's think about 9, and what would be the next number with a 3 in the ones place? And what I can do is I can start adding. I can say, oh, I have, so 9 plus 1 is 10, 11, 12, 13. So 9 plus 4 gives me 13, but then I have to remember that I have to regroup that 1 up there, and this is a poor choice of colors. Now that I'm all close there, let me put a 1 right there. And I just want to show you really quick, we could have also used a number line, right? And been like, all right, well, here's 8, here's 9, here's 10, here's 11, here's 12, and here's 13. Oh, there's that 13 I was looking for, because I needed a 3 in the ones place. Okay, so back to this though. So now we have 1 plus 3 is 4, plus some number is 5, and if you said 1, you're absolutely right. Let's do this one now. So, oh, interesting. Look, 7 plus some number is 0. Makes you want to subtract, but we don't need that. Let's think about it like this. We have 6, 7, 8, 9. 10 has a 0 in the ones. So it could be 7 plus 1, 2, 3, right? Or again, you could say a number bond. You have 10 and 7 and some number. Well, it's going to be 3. So I'm going to go ahead and write a 3 in there. And now I have to regroup. 7 plus 3 is 10, but I can't put that 1 there. It has to go up here. 1 plus 1 plus something is 7. 1 plus 1 is 2. And if my total is 7, now I can figure out what the missing number is. 7 minus 2 is 5. So I'm going to put a 5 right there. 4 plus some number is 8. Well, I know, that's a double fact. 4 plus 4 is 8. 9 plus some number is 0. Let's look up here. 9 plus 1 gets me to 10, which has a 0 right there. So I'm going to put a 1 in there, regroup. And now I have 1 plus 8 plus something is 1. Let's think about that. Let's think about 8. Oh, look, we can use the same number line. 8 to get to a 1 there, it would be 1, 2, 3. So I now know it would be 3. 8 plus 3 is 11, and here's that other piece of that answer. So that's a great way to do that. All right, we just have one more question. I have to be honest, I'm getting really sleepy, guys, so let's hope that I don't make a mistake on this because it is way past my bedtime. So here we go. Number 5. There is a mistake in the addition shown. Explain how the mistake was made. Then find the correct sum. All right, my friends, we're not going to do it in that order. I don't believe in doing it in that order. I believe that when I need to figure out what somebody did wrong, the best way for me to do that is for me to do it correctly. So I'm going to do it right. So I'm going to copy down these numbers, 22,365 and 53,908. And just because I like it to have all different colors, there we go. I want to be really careful, so I'm going to go ahead and put in my lines. All right, so here we go. I'm going to check to see what is the right, and I'm not even looking at this. We're pretending this isn't there. It does not exist. Yeah. Oh, that would be distracting. So here we go. So we're going to start on the right, because that's where we always start. 5 plus 8 is 13. But remember, I can't write 13 in here. I have to regroup that 1. It goes over one place value. 1 plus 6 is 7. 3 plus 9 is 12. But again, I have to regroup. So I'm going to put a 1 over here. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put my 2 right here. And then I'm going to do 1 plus 2 plus 3 is 6, and 2 plus 5 is 7. And I ended up with 76,000. Interesting. 76,273. Do you see what's different about mine? Look at where my my regroupings occurred. They moved over into the tens and the thousands, but look, they regrouped incorrectly. They did not put that 1 in the correct column. They kept it in the same column. 3 plus 9, remember 3 plus 9? 3 plus 9 was 12. They have a 3 here because they have the extra 1 there. So they put the 1 in the wrong place value when they were regrouping. So how could we describe that? One way is that we could simply say, that, they regrouped wrong. And that would be a nice, easy way. So we could say when they regrouped in, wrong and put it in the wrong column. So let's just say they regrouped wrong. It should be incorrectly, but we're just going to say wrong. Much easier. So they regrouped wrong. They placed it in the wrong column. All right, my friends, that is it. We are done for tonight, which makes me happy. I'm going to upload this to our Google Classroom so you guys can take a look at it. And I look forward to seeing you all tomorrow. Have a great night. Have a great morning. Bye.